Good afternoon and welcome to Deepblocks weekly webinar. My name is Michael Cavone, your Chief Revenue Officer. I appreciate you taking the time to join us this week as we explore development opportunities in Las Vegas, Nevada. But before we begin, I'm going to wait a few more moments to let some more people join and jump on this webinar. Go through some key parts of our website and just discuss a couple things before, again, we start in a few minutes. Just keep in mind, you can always reach me at michael@deepblocks.com if you have any questions or want to do a one-on-one demo or go discuss our software a bit further beyond the webinar. Also, feel free to use the chat to ask any questions or discuss any specific topics. You can always feel free to reach out as well between the chat or again, emailing me if there's other topics you'd like to explore during our webinars in coming weeks. So we're always looking for additional ideas and looking to explore new markets and opportunities. I'm going to share my screen. And here we are at deepblocks.com. If you go to the homepage, you'll see we have various different sections that will help better understand what we do here at Deepblocks. Just to give you a quick overview, if you have not joined us before, Deepblocks is very good at converging various data sets into one interface. We have zoning data, parcel level data, market data from construction costs, different leasing rates, opportunity zones, just various different map layers and data sets. And we have the software broken into two different interfaces. On the front end, we have our market scanner, which allows you to search through thousands and thousands of parcels, refine your search to meet your criteria for development, and locate a handful of parcels in a matter of minutes. And once you find that parcel, you can then kind of understand the marketplace that parcel resides and select that parcel, and then go into a preliminary underwriting process and do a 3D modeling and a financial analysis, kind of evaluate various scenarios and different iterations of potential projects on that parcel. And then you can quickly export that project to a PDF file and share that with your colleagues. So again, the process is extremely efficient. It's just streamlining the real estate development process, making it less painful and more efficient for you and to save you quite a bit of time. We're seeing our users save about 90% of time and cost by using our software. So here on the website, you'll see we have our cities section. This will display all the cities that we currently have zoning data. In the red, the red dots indicate the cities we have the zoning. Anything with the blue dot indicates all the cities we have parcel level data. So we have over 1,000 cities with that parcel level data, and we're in 45 cities with the zoning data at the moment, but we're on an aggressive roadmap and path to add about another 50 plus cities with zoning in the next couple of months. Our goal is to be at around 800 cities with zoning by the end of the year. And then during that time, we also will plan on adding more and more parcel level data as well to these cities. And always keep in mind, throughout the country, we do represent that market data, as I mentioned, in various formats. Some of it's sourced by census data, some of it we by our machine learning to bring you a very strong baseline of market rates. We have, like as I mentioned, opportunity zones, and those are presented throughout the entire country. And again, I'll go through it in more detail, the various map layers as we begin our webinar. Also, we have tutorials on the website, just 60-second clips, show you the various functionalities of our website, or just quick little instructions on how to use key functionalities and how to kind of navigate through the website. In addition, we have our webinar section, and we upload every week our webinars, the videos to this section. So if you miss it this week or in coming weeks, you can always go to that webinar section to watch our webinars. And lastly, we have our pricing. Pricing right now is at $18,000 per year per user, which will only increase as we continue to add more cities. We'll be at $26,000 in coming months, and eventually at $36,000 as again we try to reach the 800 mark in terms of cities with zoning. But if you get in early, you become an early adopter, you can be grandfathered in at the pricing of $18,000. So this is a great time to get in as we scale our product and platform. All right, with that being said, let's jump into this week's webinar, exploring Las Vegas and finding development opportunities, specifically going to be looking for hotel opportunities. So here we are on the Deepblocks. This is our dashboard. where I save all my projects. And again, here are the two different interfaces. Here's our search engine, also known as that market scanner. And I'm going to click that. We're going to simply search Las Vegas. So as my screen loads, I will kind of go through the various sections and segments of the platform on this front end interface. As you notice, you'll start seeing these blue outlines appear on my screen. Those basically represent the parcels in this particular section of Las Vegas, or what I like to call my viewport. Just to give you a couple of piece of advice, we always recommend using Google Chrome to use our software. In addition, we like to always say the best ways to kind of utilize and maximize the capabilities of the software is to zoom out to about, I like to use 80%. And the more parcels you can capture within your screen, the better chance you have of capturing and going through as many parcels and really trying to, again, find that parcel that meets your criteria. So currently, just to give you an idea, if I check this lot size off, you'll quickly see that we have roughly 1,400 parcels in this view. We can continue to zoom out more and more to encapsulate more parcels. And you'll see as my screen updates, we're up to 3,800 parcels just in my particular viewport. But before we kind of jump into the specifics of the search in Las Vegas, just to show you again a couple of tool sets. Here's our satellite layer. So you can either search in the current view form in this grid-like view, or you could turn on the satellite layer, whichever you're more comfortable. This is our select parcel tool, to select one parcel at a time. This is our assemblage tool. I just select multiple parcels at once and evaluate more than one property at once. So if you want to look at a city block and try to understand the most optimal project on, again, more than one parcel, you'll select the assemblage tool. We have a draw parcel tool, which allows you to draw pretty much a parcel anywhere throughout the country or even the world, and still complete that preliminary underwriting and do that financial analysis. Or you can use the draw parcel tools to draw various parcels within a larger parcel. So for instance, if you want to draw 10 townhome units on a larger piece of land, you could draw out those townhomes. And we actually have a copy and paste option now, so you can just draw one of those townhome units, copy it, and then simply just paste them all the way throughout that larger parcel. And then we jump down to our market scanner. This is pretty much the driving force behind this interface, along with our map layers, which again provide you that market data and different key indicators of how a certain marketplace is represented. So we're first going to jump into, we're going to look at, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a different search today. We're going to start out with a very macro bird's eye view of Las Vegas. And one of the key layers we actually added recently is this buildable area ratio. Really, it gives you a good idea of how much you can build upwards and gives you a total square footage of what is allowed on a particular parcel. So it's a very, very useful layer. And what it does, it identifies pockets of interest for uses, again, along like hotels, offices, industrial, along that route. So we're going to click the off buildable area. I'm going to zoom out quite a bit. You can really see, and we can identify the pockets of interest that will fall into kind of my criteria for today for developing a hotel play. As we kind of see these red dots, and I'm just going to go over to my map legend. Our map legend will show you how each layer is sourced, and as well it's how it's represented. So here you see the buildable area ratio versus potential buildable area ratio calculated using the maximum buildable square footage divided by the lot area. So as you can tell, that very dark red here is greater than 12, and then 7.5 to 12. So there's a really strong pocket of interest in this region right here, in this lower, I would say southeastern corner of Las Vegas. So this is a good point for me to begin my search and kind of zoom in on this area. So I'm going to kind of move it up to the middle of my screen. And I'm going to zoom in. The next thing we like to do now is, as we kind of understood that area of Las Vegas that, again, kind of identifies with my potential development play, we're going to go back to that search engine. We're going to zoom in some more until the parcels reappear. Again, when the parcels, those blue outlines disappear, it means we zoomed out too far. But there are benefits of zooming out. Again, like I said, there's certain layers we have that allow you to get that macro view of a certain marketplace. So sometimes you want to zoom out to a certain position to really understand that area. And then once you kind of find that, as I mentioned, that density cluster, which is another term we like to use, then you want to zoom back in until you kind of see the parcels reappear. So now you'll see all these parcels show up, the blue outline. And now the market scanner will reactivate. And you'll notice this, so just to give us an idea of how many parcels we're looking at. So we got 5,200 parcels just within my viewport. So it just, again, just shows you the power of the software, of how many parcels that originally appear and how we can start taking that number and scale it down and refine our results to just really hone in and narrow down our search to just a handful, so we can start evaluating different scenarios and different projects on our preliminary underwriting interface. So one of the first things I want to do is now I actually want to enable my buildable area square footage slider. So right now we're going to try to see how many parcels fall between 300,000 up to 15 million. So, all right. So now we went from, again, over 5,000 parcels just down to 139 parcels that are zoned for the buildable area of at least at minimum 300,000 square feet. Now let's see what we get if we try 600,000 square feet. Down to 55 parcels. And next I'm going to try 2 million. Down to 4. So they're probably hiding underneath. There's one. We got a couple over here, up there. A couple behind my menus up there. And lastly, I want to just see for 3 million. Down to 2. So we have 1 and then 2 over here. So I kind of want to focus in on this area. I may turn my opportunity zone layer on just to see. So the opportunity zone layer, as I mentioned, is represented throughout the country. And we notice that this parcel over here actually does reside in that opportunity zone right there. So this could be a good potential play for my possible project. But I'm going to do a couple of additional searches. I want to kind of take it to the next level. I'm going to bring this back down to 500,000. And we're going to turn on uses allowed for hotels, hotel, motel, or hotel suites, and just see how many results. We have 43 results matching that are zoned for hotels and within a buildable area between half a million up to 15 million. So this kind of falls a little more into what I'm trying to analyze and study. So some additional things we like to show are the map layers that kind of give me a good indicator of this might be where I want to focus in on. But before I do so, I'm going to zoom in even a little bit more. We're going to turn on some of our layers for the people section before I zoom in. So right here we have data that's being pulled from census data. We show employment, median income, median rent, and population. These are heat maps that represent this information. So right here we can see the median income in this particular area is 25,000, 19,000. This could be a good area to potentially develop. We have hotel tab that shows a hotel average daily rate within the area. So we're looking at $153 a night. So again, another strong number to give us an idea or an indicator that this could be a good place to develop a hotel play. I'm gonna look at the retail layer as well to kind of get an idea of local businesses in the area. You can also look at traffic count, just get an idea of the traffic flow throughout this particular area. See again that this, just to validate to see this makes sense as an area of interest, and again to analyze different scenarios for our project. Looking pretty good. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and I'm going to actually kind of show you how these demographic trends also are a great indicator of a particular marketplace. The way these work, you'll see these various trend lines right here, and then below we have our census tracts. And if you just put your mouse over each color box, you'll start to see that shade pop up on your screen, and we can understand particular areas. So this is actually 7, which is perfect. So I can turn off all the other ones. We're going to focus in on that number 7. Again, as you notice, I pop my mouse over that box, and that whole screen comes up that color shade. All right, so we're seeing a strong decline in population here. And we also have, let's see, we have employment per population. We can study. And we can look at the trend line versus the United States average. And just one note, this is from 2010 through 2018. We are working to update it through 2020 as the census just released their data through 2020. See, median household income is another area we can also analyze the trends. We're seeing a little bit of an incline. So again, these are just some indicators and just some guidance to try to better understand this area. So with that, I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to actually turn on my satellite layer and kind of see what we have in place in these different parcels that are highlighted based on my search criteria, and try to pick a particular parcel where we feel that is the best area to potentially develop. Give me a few seconds as it loads. Refresh my screen, a little bit of delay. Zoom connection. All right, I'm just going to refresh and start that search back up. All right, so I'm going to, once again, we're going to put hotels in as usage allowed. And we're going to search buildable area from 500,000 to, the reason I put 15 million in, that's just to give a broader range. All right, so we're going to focus in on this area. We'll put that buildable area ratio back on, right? I like to, again, I'm going to turn the opportunity zone back on. So I'm going to try to build right in this area. So let's start with this particular parcel just to start. And what we like to do is here you'll see your, as you select that parcel, you'll get your property info, the zoning limits, parking by use, uses allowed, and our setbacks for this particular property. So the next step would be is to do preliminary underwriting. I'm going to do some hotel with retail as my first scenario, and I'll show you how we can do various iterations of this particular parcel. So I'm clicking continue. I updated the FAR to 10, and now we're entering this backend interface where it's our 3D massing financial analysis, the 1-year back of the envelope return on cost financial analysis. One thing also to keep in mind, when I was doing the market scanner and going through, searching through thousands of properties to just to select a handful, you can export at any point a CSV file of all those parcels that are matching your criteria. You'll get the legal address along with 15 other additional columns tied to those parcels. So it's a very helpful reference point and jumping off point to begin your search. So here you'll see the 3D model is calculated and constructed on your screen. So just again, going through the tool set as that loads, you have a share project button, which if there's multiple users with that have licenses with Deepblocks, you can share projects amongst your colleagues. Your colleague could adjust the assumptions on their end, share it back to you, and then they can adjust it. So you can easily go back and forth to share your ideas and just continue to mold that project to figure out the most optimal outcome for this particular parcel. You can copy a project, which is again also very helpful because, as I mentioned, we're going to do a hotel with retail. We're going to put in some assumptions. We're going to evaluate this scenario. You can then copy that project and then go through another set of iterations and see what might be another better play or more optimal solution for this particular parcel. So we have hotel, retail, and always keep in mind, we can activate these uses very simply by just clicking them off. You'll see the retail disappears, click it back on, there goes the retail. One of the first things we like to do, and one thing going through my screen again, all your map layers are also on this interface as well. Here's our return analysis, which works interactively with your assumptions down here. So anything you enter into your assumptions or your setbacks, all this gets computed automatically and instantly. Here's the property info, which gets transferred over to this backend interface from our market scanner, just to go through that key information. This is very helpful in guiding you as a reference for entering, again, understand number of floors, building height, lot coverage that it is zoned for. Here's one key piece. It's zoned for 50% lot coverage. You'll see for a hotel, we have for the parking, it's 1 space per guest room. As I mentioned, we also show the setbacks. So we got 10, 10, 10, and 3, 10, 10, 10, and 20. So that's one thing I'm going to jump into right now. We're going to go into our setback mode, and we can uniquely identify the front 2 sides and the back. And I'll show you right now. So here's our front. I'm going to make this the primary. Leave that as B, make this C, and then we'll make this D. We'll exit that setback mode, and now I'll show you how we can adjust these setbacks quickly. So I mentioned it was 10, 10, 10, and then 20. You'll see the setbacks are in place. You can also then adjust the setbacks from the ground floor, from the additional floors above and up. So let's do some adjustments from the 7th floor up. So I'm going to make this 25, 25. So if you really want to get aggressive, we can make it even. Right now we're at 84% lot cover. So considering we got to be at 50%, we can continue to adjust these to make these even greater to meet that 50% lot coverage. So you see, as you adjust the setbacks, again, it automatically will update on their screen. The next section is you go into your adjust assumptions. We can adjust the different uses. So first we'll look at the hotel uses. Number of keys is 2639. We can increase this. We can, again, change the average room area. And we can also adjust the loss factor, our amenities. And then we can work on the average daily rate per key, as well as other revenue. So just some very key income entries that you can quickly update. Again, we pre-populate it based on the current model, as well as this average daily rate is based on the sub-market rate in the area for Las Vegas. And it does change based on whatever market you are doing your analysis. And again, so all of these numbers are adjustable. So we can make this 170 if we feel we get a little bit more for our average daily rate. You can go into the retail. We can increase the retail capacity. So maybe we want to get 25,000 of retail. You'll notice what will happen is this will increase in size. We can update that leasing income. Again, there's another sub-market value that we apply our machine learning to bring a very strong baseline for you of this particular area in Las Vegas, which again also adjust throughout various markets. But say we can get a little bit more than 37, we'll go up to 40. We can put it in our parking for, as we mentioned, it was 1 space per guest room. And then you see all that parking does come in this gray area. We can adjust the retail to also adjust the parking based on those parking by use. It's also 1 space based on these guidelines. So again, you can just manipulate the data a bit and enter in your assumptions as need be to play with this model and kind of go through the scenario. You can update the cost as well. We can put in a purchase price that you feel might be more in favor of this property. So maybe it's 180 million. And you'll notice as you continue to update any assumptions, your KPIs, as I mentioned, will continue to update automatically. And also your return analysis automatically updates. So here's your gross income, your vacancy, OPEX, NOI, and then your return on cost. Again, just a 1 year back of the envelope breakdown. And then we go into our assumptions, property information, building information, some additional information. So again, all this is interactive with your assumptions. So as you do adjust this, everything updates instantly. We can also update our costs. So maybe we can do this more for 245, retail maybe 145. And again, now you see our ROCs are 10.3% styled ROC. So one of the next things we do after this is after going through the assumptions, we go back to that return analysis section, and we can export this out to a report. It's a PDF, 4-page PDF file. Enter from who it's from to enter who it's going to, the writing summary. You can upload a cover image of this particular parcel. If maybe it's a rendering of what you're trying to build. You could upload your company logo along with their color palette and customize this report. So as you'll see, it'll be 4 pages. And again, these reports are very helpful because, as I mentioned, if you copy a project and go through various scenarios, you can export these reports and share these reports with your colleagues to kind of analyze which scenario, which project makes the most sense that could be developed on this parcel. So here we have that rendering would go here. You can upload your own cover image for this. Your logo goes there. The colors scheme would change based on your company color palette. Your writing summary would go there. And here we have our property info, the zoning summary, and the stacking plan for this particular project. Some of those key demographic trends we were looking at on the market scanner side and that previous interface. And then here's your financial analysis, that 1 year back of the envelope return on cost. So again, just to show you the flexibility of the software, as I mentioned, we could copy this project and you can rename it, or you can duplicate it and go through another iteration of what makes them maybe might make more sense for this particular parcel. So maybe you want to throw some office space into this play. We can turn that on. You'll see office will be automatically added right here in this layer, that purplish blue color right there. And then again, you can go to your assumptions and we can adjust now the office. We look at the gross buildable. Maybe we're only going to do 100,000 square feet of office space. We can look at the leasing income. Maybe we can give $38 per square foot. And again, you'll just notice your KPIs will update. Again, then you can export this report for this particular project. And now you have 2 reports for this particular parcel, one hotel play with retail, the other one with hotel, retail, and office space. So just, again, very expedited fashion, very efficient way, but a very effective way to go from scanning thousands and thousands of parcels, finding a parcel that makes the most sense based on your criteria, and then going through in this preliminary underwriting interface, going through the 3D modeling and massing and understand the financial breakdown and analysis. So again, in a matter of minutes, you really can understand scenarios. And this is why this software is built for those who want to develop at scale. I mean, it allows you not only to develop at scale within a certain market where you might have development plays throughout that market, but in addition, you can develop throughout the country, and especially as we continue to add more and more cities with zoning. So we really put right into one interface the zoning data, that parcel level data, and that market data for you to really best understand and optimize your ability to find the best project built on this parcel. So with that being said, again, I do appreciate everyone joining me this week for this project in Las Vegas. Always feel free to reach out to me at michael@deepblocks.com. If there's any cities that you want to focus on or want us to present or certain particular type of use or search, feel free to reach out to me, and we can cater our webinar to your needs. Otherwise, I do appreciate you joining, and we'll see you next week at 3 o'clock to 3:30. Have a great afternoon. Take care.